Hello and welcome to Carnivore Tales. I am here basically to tell you all the good things it is about carnivore. Well, no, I'm not really an expert on it, so I'm not the one to tell you about it. However, I will tell you a few things. I had a delicious chicken drumstick dinner. I ate the skin and everything, so that was a nice little piece of fatty nutrition. A little bit of seasoning, and then I topped it off with a little bit of hot sauce, so, it had a little bit of flavor to it in the end. In the end, I could have eaten it both ways, and I would have been perfectly happy. It was nice and moist, pretty, and shiny. Everything you want in a drumstick. But still, like I said, it's one of my steps in the process of kind of being sick of beef and trying to give myself a little bit of a break before I go back into it in a couple days. I think tomorrow I might try something else as well. I have no idea. We'll figure it out. Anyway, I guess I wanted to talk about a little bit about my moving and change and things that I've been doing. So I recently got a new job, and this is actually to help me stay down here, I suppose. And I've been working, how can you say, very weirdly. I'm basically on call where I kind of go to locations, but I might be hours before I even do anything. So it's hard for me to pick up and do something because I might get a call in an instant. Sometimes I might get 2 or 3 orders at once, and I have to go and drive around. I can rack up 200 some miles a day, things of that nature. I mean, it's an interesting job, not needless to say. But living in Tennessee, this has kind of been a struggle in itself. I don't know the roads, I don't know the areas, and most of all, I have no sense of direction. And this is also true for hospitals. Now, I go in there to deliver something, and all I can say is I'm supposed to deliver to an OR. Yeah, no signs for an OR. So I ended up asking a doctor, and he pointed me to an elevator, and I went up there, and I asked around up there as well because I still couldn't find it. Eventually, I had somebody actually take me there and punch me in and all that stuff, but I got it done, but I'm not afraid to ask. So the reason why I bring that up is because, like, here in my diet, I always ask. That, like I said, I'm sick of beef, so I wanted to kind of find ways to get back onto it, but at the same time, not hate it as much as I was before. So I love the suggestions you had. Somebody had ribs listed down, and that does sound like an absolutely delicious idea to me. So I probably will have ribs in the near future. But there's a lot more things too. I mean, eggs and bacon, that seems to be a good staple. I can't have enough of those, so I'm fine with that. And everything else is, I've had nothing but good suggestions. I will say, though, I don't like fish. So although that was listed to me as a suggestion, I've always had a hard time with fish. I don't know if it's just me or anything else like that. So maybe I never had good fish prepared or anything like that, but I've never liked fish. It might sound weird, it's pretty much the one meat I have trouble eating. So that's why somebody mentioned I should probably take omega-3 tablets at one point. But it doesn't matter because, like, my point is I'm asking. And you're all giving perfect advice, and I'm listening, and I'm trying to figure out ways that I can make these things work a lot better. And my hand looks so much bigger when it's like that, doesn't it? But there's a lot more to go on here. So with the suggestions, I'm going to probably have a couple of them, and then I'm going to go back to steak. I think I'm going to go with a chuck steak again because I had the best luck with that when I originally had one. So we'll see what happens there. I'm not sure I'm ready for a burger yet because I think that's kind of something that's not settling at the moment, but we'll see. I kind of want to try other things as well, but we'll get to that eventually. But yeah, I'm going to keep ribs in mind. Maybe I'll have that in the next day or so. Either way, expect some pictures. We'll see what happens. But I do plan to go back to a chuck steak just to see if my aversion to beef is coming back or if I'm doing any better. Either way, I eat a lot of beef, so that's kind of what happens. But, yeah, there's a lot there. Anyway, I do thank you all for coming and listening to me, and I'm always trying to find something to actually talk about. And of course, in this case, talking about the changes that I've made and trying to push through it. It's all been a real struggle. Now, I don't have much to say today because there really was no change in how I feel. So that's why I kind of brought up the case of me getting lost, because I'm like, well, everybody wants to know what you're doing, so why not? Let them know that you can't do it. No, I mean, I can do it. I just have to ask. Not knowing my streets around here is pretty funny, too, because everybody's trying to give me instructions, and they all have the southern accent, so sometimes I don't hear them quite clearly. I'm not used to it. So I get confused in those cases, too. But I'm trying. I really am. This has been a really fun experience and new experience. I'm waiting to go ghost hunting sometime in July, and I hope to talk to you about it as well in the process of my diet, because I'll be doing a lot of moving around, moving equipment and things like that, so I'll be more active in that sense. Either way, I mean, it's all going to be great. But, I mean, it's hard to believe that I'm halfway through more than halfway through the first month, but it feels like it's been so much longer than that. And it's crazy. But with these changes and always asking for help, trying to get advice, I appreciate anything you leave in the comments. I really do, and I check it usually once a day. I try to reply if I have time. If I not, I sometimes end up caught in various things. But I will reply usually. Well, as long as I don't get big, which I don't see that happening, which is fine. It's a vlog. I don't expect much. I'm not going to sit there and go and be the perfect individual to be entertaining and somebody you want to listen to. But of course, I will change my voice and try to make things entertaining, because that's what my job is partly to do, because I just like to have fun. But like I said, this is more of a serious vlog, so I try not to throw too much in there. And even then, it's like, I like to have a little bit of humor, but again, I feed off energy, so sometimes it's better if I can witty banter between two people, and it just goes great. And I met a few people like that when I was streaming, and we just basically had a great time. Needless to say, the channel point redeem on my one Twitch was kind of nuts. It's actually a part where I had a... I don't know if you ever heard of those Bean Boozled beans. I mean, some people have, but it was one of those ones that it was a kind of a punishment. They were all hot. And I ended up rolling a Carolina Reaper. Now, it's not quite a ghost pepper or anything like that, but I will tell you, it was extremely spicy. So I ended up sounding like a freaking turkey when I'm sitting there trying to blow off my tongue. Apparently, I'm not that good with those hot things, but, you know, I made it work. Plus, it didn't taste the greatest either. Not a very big fan of just eating straight peppers, but I will tell you that that was definitely something I will remember and continue to burn on my tongue. But either way, I mean, again, I probably shouldn't even eat those anymore, even if it's a challenge. I mean, I got to figure out how to keep my diet going and keep it straight for the next 90 days. Everything will probably... I'm definitely following it to the letter. In 90 days, I might introduce something else just to kind of, you know, see how I feel. But these 90 days are still the most important, and I do stress that entirely. At least that's kind of what I'm going for right now. And I'm sure everybody here will agree those 90 days are quick. And I will reiterate what my doctor told me. He basically said that it was 60 days to enter true ketosis and 30 days to flush your system. So once you get to the point where you're in ketosis for those 60 days, the 30 days you're actually flushing your system of those toxins. And that's what the 90 days of the carnivore diet are supposed to do. Now the rest of the carnivore diet in the community will actually continue eating these meats, and will continue eating, you know, things of that nature, and it will continue going quite well. And I hope I can get to that level, because like I said, right now it's getting to the point where I'm already starting to miss food. And I believe somebody quoted on one of my chats there, messages, even said that I'm looking at things the wrong way. I'm thinking of it as food and not a way to live. And I think that might be right too. There's a lot to kind of look into. So I'm having cravings, which is not necessarily a good thing. But again, I'm not going to bow, and I'm going to continue drinking my water, which I already drank all this, and I'm already thirsty. I can already tell. But anyway, I guess that's all I wanted to share with you today. It's only going to be a shorter video today. but I hope you enjoyed it. I did talk a little bit about myself so everybody can know. And I still can't wait for the weigh-in at day 30. Or, well, I'm going to do it day 1 because that way it seems like, well, day 31 or whatever. Just to kind of say this is the beginning of the wait of this 30 days kind of thing. So we'll see what happens. But I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. It's actually made pretty good headway so far. And I am a dumb butt for basically checking it out and checking my weight every couple of days. Even though I really shouldn't, because then I'm like, oh, it didn't go down. It went down. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. But the weight is losing. I'm definitely in better shape than I was before when I started. But anyway, thank you all for coming. Have a good night.